Welcome to the Picket Line, the show where we tackle the big issues head on.
From the workers' front line to the boardroom.
I'm Richard Garcia, a member of ATU Local 1433, standing up for transit workers in Phoenix.
And I'm Laura Stiles, bringing the business perspective on what drives real progress. Today, we're debating the city of Phoenix's over $9.5 million in federal funding for public safety and infrastructure.
Is it a victory for the community or a corporate giveaway? Let's dive in. Laura, start us off with your view.
This funding is a smart, targeted investment in Phoenix's future. The $250,000 for expanding apron space at Sky Harbor Airport after removing the old Tracon building will boost efficiency, cut delays, and draw more economic activity, think jobs and growth. Plus, the $800,000 for EV battery fire equipment secured by Congresswoman Ansari equips the Phoenix Fire Department for the rise in electric vehicles, enhancing safety and reducing risks. It's practical support that benefits everyone.
Appreciate that, Laura, but let's ground this in reality for working folks. Airport expansions prioritize airlines and big business, while transit workers in ATU 1433 deal with neglected routes and buses. No transit funding here? And EV gear is essential, but it should come with better hazard pay and training for firefighters, not just profits for manufacturers. What's your take on the $2.175 million?
For wildfire engines and ambulances in South Phoenix?
That's a direct win for underserved areas, Richard. Backed by Ansari, it strengthens wildfire and EMS response, easing the burden on fleets with high call volumes. Then there's Congressman Hamadeh's $1.5 million for renovating the Fire Member Services building, expanding mental health, counseling, and support for first responders. It's about sustaining the workforce that keeps us safe, creating a healthier, more effective system overall.
Sustaining the workforce. This package falls short on that. South Phoenix needs those resources, but transit deserts in the same areas mean longer waits for buses, straining EMS further. As an ATU member, I know unreliable public transport hits workers hardest. Mental health is key.
But extend it union-wide with protections. And that $1.9 million for a police flight simulator, it's high-tech fluff for cops.
Ignoring wage fights for all public employees.
It's not fluff, Richard. It's efficiency that saves costs and lives. Congress stands $850,000 for upgrades at fire stations, modernizes dorms, and ensures ADA compliance, addressing sleep deprivation for better firefighter wellness. Add the $2.62 million from Ansari and Stanton for the real-time crime centers, new cameras, and license plate readers. That's real-time data for smarter law enforcement, making Phoenix safer and more attractive for business.
Safer? This tech expansion feels like more surveillance on communities that need investment, not oversight.
And let's be real, we all know this tech is just another ploy to catch people driving without insurance, to feed the insurance lawyer lobby industrial complex.
If you don't think those moving lawyer lobby billboards we call buses don't affect public policy, well, you're just being utterly naive. If you want to know who's really calling the shots, all you need to do is follow the money. There is no incentive to make our roads safer. Not while we have massive amounts of money being generated from car accidents paid for by insurance companies who pass the cost onto the public. I've seen on my bus routes how poor transit fuels problems this funding overlooks. Ilse Borquez calls these community-driven.
But without labor input, it's establishment deals favoring vendors. We deserve funding with worker rights baked in.
These partnerships deliver, as Borquez noted, meaningful benefits for residents through infrastructure that drives economic ripple effects, supporting jobs across the board, including transit. And to address your rant about insurance and lawyers, the notion that lawyer and insurance lobbies, bolstered by bus advertising, manipulate public policy in Phoenix to perpetuate unsafe roads for profit overlooks substantial evidence of ongoing, well-funded efforts to reduce traffic accidents. While personal injury lawyers and insurance companies undoubtedly benefit financially from accidents, lawyers through settlements and insurers through premiums, these industries do not dictate policy in a way that stifles safety improvements. Instead, data shows Phoenix and Arizona actively prioritizing road safety through multi-million-dollar investments, comprehensive plans, and measurable progress in crash reductions. This demonstrates a clear public interest in safer roads.
Laura, we just debated that. You call it safety investments, and I call it corporate welfare and giveaways. If you want to know how our community feels about what the city defines as quote-unquote safety, just look at the way they have started vandalizing the new speed cameras.
This isn't coming from some sort of anti-capitalism place on my end. I'm pro-capitalism. I just don't want it in my government.
A government that serves money doesn't serve its people, it despises its people and serves money. Capitalism should stay in the private sector where it belongs. And to address your numbers about safer roads, look, I don't know where you're getting your numbers, but I'm on those streets every day. And every day I see people almost getting run over, and occasionally there'll even be a cop present and either isn't paying attention or just busy running plates. Now, this isn't an indictment of the officers out here. This is an indictment of the corporate agenda that has infiltrated itself into our government. Now, normally I would say that I need to practice a healthy amount of skepticism, but I just keep thinking back to when I got my first ticket back in 2018. My truck was in the shop and I needed to go to work, so I borrowed my girlfriend's truck and it had no insurance. I get pulled over almost immediately, no insurance ticket. Thinking that because it was my first offense that it wasn't going to be too bad? Nope. When I tell you that I got the book thrown at me, you better believe it. God help you if you get a no insurance ticket. The punishment rivals the punishment for drinking and driving.
Yeah.
So don't try to tell me not to believe my lying eyes.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Richard, but we got to cut this debate short so we can talk about news that just came in. We were just talking about this before we started recording, and I know this bill was important to a lot of people, but it's important we are fair about how we discuss this. House Resolution 1100 to the House Ethics Committee, effectively stalling or killing the resolution's push for immediate public disclosure of records related to sexual harassment and misconduct investigations. We need to prioritize victim protection, investigative integrity, and due process. Publicly releasing investigative records, even with redactions, risks exposing sensitive details that could re-traumatize survivors of sexual harassment. Interim work products, interview transcripts, and exhibits often contain personal accounts that, if disclosed, might force victims to relive their experiences in the public eye. Right. As Ethics Committee Chair Michael and Ranking Member Mark DeSaulnier jointly stated, victims may be re-traumatized by public disclosures of interim work product, excerpts of interview transcripts, and certain exhibits. Voting to refer the resolution allows the Ethics Committee to handle these matters discreetly, ensuring that victims' well-being isn't sacrificed for political optics. Many witnesses in these investigations participate only under conditions of confidentiality or anonymity, fearing professional or personal backlash. Mandating public release could deter future witnesses from coming forward, as they might worry about retaliation if their involvement becomes known. The same bipartisan ethics leaders warned that such disclosures could fear retaliation if their cooperation is made public, ultimately hampering the committee's ability to thoroughly investigate and address misconduct. By killing the bill through referral, you preserve a safe environment for reporting, which is essential for rooting out bad actors without chilling participation in ongoing or future probes. The House Ethics Committee is designed to handle these delicate issues with expertise and bipartisanship, balancing accountability with privacy. Forcing a blanket release could undermine this process, potentially compromising active cases or discouraging thorough inquiries. Guest and DeSaulnier emphasized that the resolution could have a negative impact on the committee's ability to investigate and eliminate sexual misconduct in the House. Referring it back to the committee allows for measured review and potential refinements, rather than a rushed, one-size-fits-all disclosure that might do more harm than good. While transparency is valuable, especially when taxpayer funds are involved in settlements, this resolution could be seen as a partisan tool that prioritizes sensationalism over justice. It might unfairly taint individuals based on unproven allegations or incomplete records, violating due process principles. Instead, trusting the established committee process already reformed post-#MeToo to include better oversight promotes accountability without turning sensitive ethics matters into a public spectacle. Voting to kill House Resolution 1100 isn't about shielding perpetrators, it's about protecting the very system that holds them accountable.
Right.
Perpetrators should face consequences, but not at the expense of victims, witnesses, or effective investigations. This approach aligns with a commitment to ethical governance that values empathy and efficacy over immediate exposure.
Thank you, Laura, and I appreciate all of that. But the problem isn't that we don't have the right systems in place. The problem for people like me and so many others is that we don't trust the people in place. Personally, I don't trust the people in place because I understand to what extent money plays a role in who wins an election and where the money comes from. If our lawmakers want to establish more trust from the general public, we need to start
seeing justice, not just talking about it.
You can call it sensationalism and a spectacle, but this is a result of public distrust. We are tired of being told to be patient and let justice prevail.
When time and time again we see that it's just a ploy from the political playbook to stall till people forget and lose interest and nothing becomes of it.
And with that, we will wrap things up for tonight. Thanks for joining us on the Picket Line. Whether you're team worker or team business, let us know your thoughts.
I'm Richard Garcia. Like, share, and subscribe to support my campaign.
And I'm Laura Stiles. See you next time.